Today's episode is brought to you by U.S. Legal Forms. If you're like me, you've procrastinated about making a will. I did for years. My financial advisor told me as much as I'm on the road, I needed to have a will. So I broke down and called an attorney. Yikes. It was going to cost me over $1,000 to have wills for my wife and myself. Then I heard Dave Ramsey recommend U.S. Legal Forms. I bought a state-specific will, estate planning, and power of attorney package for less than $100. Now I'm covered, and it didn't cost me an arm and a leg. If you have a need for corporate legal forms, a will, power of attorney, affidavits, estate plans, or real estate forms, check out U.S. Legal Forms. Go to the SAMatters.com and click on the box on the right side of the page. For full disclosure, after using the products, I signed up to be an affiliate marketer for U.S. Legal Forms. So if you buy forms there, a small portion of the sale will come back to me in the form of a commission. Hello, and welcome to episode 16 of Situational Awareness Matters radio show. I'm your host, Rich Gasaway. The purpose of this show is to improve situational awareness and decision-making for individuals and teams who work in high-risk, high-consequence environments. The SAMatters mission is simple: to help you see bad things coming and time to avoid bad outcomes. In this episode, we'll look at the hot-button issue of first responder fatigue. We'll review a near-miss report that emphasizes the importance of having a designated safety officer. And I will address a community question that discusses which among the more than 100 barriers to situational awareness is the most pervasive. Back in episode 7, I answered a listener question about the impact of fatigue on situational awareness. I promised in that episode that I would dedicate more time to this topic in an upcoming episode. So what I want to do is explore the issue of fatigue some more. I get asked often about the role of fatigue in situational awareness. Sometimes the question is based on general curiosity. Sometimes the inquiry is a result of someone seeking support for or against an extended work schedule. I sure don't want to get caught up in the middle of that debate, but the question is a good one. Does fatigue impact situational awareness? I don't know of any specific studies that links situational awareness to levels of fatigue. However, there is a lot of research that links fatigue to lower levels of physical and mental performance. And that's what I want to talk about here. The research on fatigue. Research has shown that fatigue can impact mental performance, and thus it could be reasonably concluded that fatigue would also impact situational awareness. The basic findings of numerous research studies concludes the tired brain does not think or perform as well as the rested brain. This includes measured performance on aptitude exams, recall exams, and physical performance exams. Essentially, fatigue slows a person's ability to figure things out and then to perform things once they do have it figured out. How much sleep? How much sleep does a person need to overcome the effects of fatigue? Unfortunately, the amount of sleep a person needs varies so much from person to person that it is extremely difficult to quantify the answer. There are both quantity and quality of sleep issues to be considered as well. Uninterrupted sleep, allowing the brain to maneuver through the different stages of the sleep cycle, seems to be an important component to the equation. This may have ramifications for first responders whose sleep-wake sleep cycles are often interrupted. Stress is a factor. A responder who is awakened from sleep to respond to a stressful call may not be able to return to a restful sleep following the call because of the chemical and hormonal changes that result from a stress reaction. Science suggests that if the responder is required to perform strenuous activities during a call, such as what you would do during a working structure fire, the lingering effects of the chemical dump are far less impacting. In other words, physical activity allows a responder to work the chemicals out of the system. A false alarm call may be another story, however. When awakened from the sleep for an emergency response, the body is going to react and chemicals are going to be released. If the call ends up being a minor emergency where the responder does not have to engage in physically demanding activities, some of the chemicals may linger in the system and may make it harder to go back to sleep. I've experienced this numerous times throughout my 30-year career as a first responder, especially when being dispatched to a high-risk, high-consequence emergency, only to arrive at the scene and find a false alarm or an emergency far less significant than I was physically and mentally prepared for. On those occasions, I found it very difficult to go back to sleep. Conversely, after I performed physically demanding tasks at emergency scenes, I found it far easier to return to a restful sleep. I used to think it simply meant that I was just tired from the physical activity that I performed. While this is in part true, I was also unknowingly working out those stress-induced chemicals and hormones. A safety nap. Some responders believe that taking a safety nap can help improve mental performance. In part, it does. Generally, any rest a responder gets is better than no rest at all. However, a nap may not resolve systemic fatigue. Sleep is a critical component to brain function, and when there is not adequate rest or disrupted sleep, the impact can be real and measurable. The work schedule. The schedule of some public safety providers may not be conducive to adequate rest. 24-hour shifts and organizations who are busy service providers can present some real challenges to situational awareness, decision-making, and problem-solving. I have talked to many providers who admit to me the quality of their care and their decisions may not be as good at night as they are during the day if they are fatigued. Adding additional fatigue by having responders work 48-hour consecutive shifts by design or by overtime, and the problem of fatigue impacting decision-making and physical performance could be compounded. Physical rest is not mental rest. Many people believe if they feel physically rested, then they are mentally rested as well. In reality, when the physical body rests, the brain is not resting at all. In fact, the brain is surprisingly active while the body rests, suggesting that the body rests so that the brain may have access to more energy or glucose to do its heavy lifting. And what is the brain doing while you're sleeping? Laboratory research suggests that the brain is sorting through all the data from your previous waking period, cataloging the events for future use. Hence, fatigue not only impacts your short-term performance and memory, it may also impact your long-term memory recall. Now for some advice. Responders who work long hours must be provided with opportunities to rest their brains. It's not a matter of being lazy, as some bureaucrats would want to believe. It's a matter of personal safety and ensuring your ability to provide high-quality service to your customer. Physical activity is good for the brain as well. Be sure to get some exercise during your workday. Research suggests aerobic exercise is best. about 30 minutes a day, 2 to 3 days a week. Exercise also causes the release of chemicals and hormones that aid in your ability to think and perform under stress. Think of it this way. Exercise also creates stress on the body, but this stress is good stress. Discussions. Describe a time when you think your situational awareness and or your decision-making quality was impacted by fatigue. Discuss ways to ensure responders can get adequate rest during extended work periods. Discuss strategies for ensuring you get enough rest when you're not on duty. If you're interested in attending a live event, you can check out the Situational Awareness Matters tour stop schedule at SAMatters.com. Click on the Program and Keynotes tab below the header, then click on the Events Schedule tab. If I'm in your area, I hope you'll consider attending a live event. If you're not able to attend a live event, consider signing up for the SAMatters Online Academy. The Academy contains videos and articles that cover the same content as the 3-day live tour event, delivered in 14 modules that you can go through at your own pace from your own computer. The Academy Plus version includes 4 books that are referenced throughout the Academy. The Plus version is a great bargain because the tuition simply covers the costs of the books, making the Academy free. Just click on the link below the header on the SAMatters homepage titled Online Academy. And now it's time for a situational awareness near-miss lesson learned. This lesson comes to us from the Firefighter near-miss reporting system, where lessons learned become lessons applied. The importance of a designated safety officer. Our crew made an interior attack at a structure fire. The business was housed within a very small building, and it seemed as if there was nothing unusual during our offensive operations. The fire had vented itself through the roof, and it was confirmed there were no occupants inside. As the smoke cleared and we began to overhaul, we could finally see daylight through a large hole in the roof. Sitting above us, leaning into the rafters and poised to fall, were 2 very large HVAC units. We were surprised that one had not already fallen. It seemed to be just teetering up there, barely braced against a deep charred beam. We were also surprised to see such large units atop such a small building. If they had fallen, it would have hurt or killed someone. One extra person to act strictly as a safety officer may have spotted these units from the outside. The attack crews did everything correctly and safely, but this incident still could have ended in an injury or a fatality. Lesson learned. Never assume that the scene is safe. If the scene was safe, there would not have been a 911 call for help. Fires are 6-sided, dynamic puzzles that take an aggressive approach to safety to support the same level of aggressive attack. Get your safety officer in place early and ensure the safety of the firefighters working. If you're interested in learning more about this or other near misses, you can visit the near miss website at firefighternearmiss.com. If you've experienced or witnessed a near-miss event and would like to be interviewed on this show, visit my companion site, closecallsurvivor.com, and click on the Contact Us link. Thank you in advance for sharing your lessons so others may live. And now it's time to take an SAMatters community question that actually came to me in the form of a Twitter post. what is the most common way for a responder to lose his or her situational awareness? While the research I've conducted has uncovered 116 barriers to situational awareness, I cannot say that I know which among them is the worst of the offenders. I hope to conduct research on this soon to be able to help provide some answers to this question. We know that situational awareness is the leading contributing factor in near-miss and casualty events, but that does little to help us to understand why. This has been a point of frustration for me for some time. In fact, flawed situational awareness is never the root cause of a near-miss or a casualty. It is only a symptom. It is the barriers that represent the root cause. I can say that I have observed a few barriers that I think are among the leaders, if that'll help at all. This would include distractions, interruptions, miscommunications, cognitive overload, the commander being located in the wrong spot, failing to predict future events, and flawed mental models. I would like to take a moment to share with you some feedback that I received from Jenny Holden from the Tennessee Department of Homeland Security following 3 training programs that I did on 3 separate dates for the Department of Homeland Security. Dear Rich, I would like to take this opportunity to express my appreciation to you for another excellent training session here in Knoxville on May 2, 2014. The course, The Courage to Lead, was extremely well received by the attendees who came from all over East Tennessee. Your extensive knowledge and understanding of the subject matter and the way you related the concept to your audience was outstanding. We received great feedback from the attendees, and I've already received requests to bring you back to town again next year. As a training manager, I also appreciate how easy it is to work with your company when it comes to scheduling and logistics. It has been a real pleasure working with you over the past few years to bring relevant and interesting training to our East Tennessee public safety professionals, and I hope we can continue to work together in the future. Sincerely, Jenny Holden. Well, thank you, Jenny, for taking time out of your busy schedule to write me such a nice letter. I've certainly enjoyed my visits to East Tennessee, and the audience has always been very responsive. This last audience was exceptional. We had police, fire, EMS, emergency management, hospital workers, nuclear power company workers, prison guards. It was an amazing collection of public safety emergency management providers from all over East Tennessee, and I really appreciate the effort that you give to bring those folks together for the full day of training that we were able to share with them on the topic of the courage to lead. Well, that's it. Episode 16 is complete. Thank you for sharing some of your valuable time with me today. I sincerely appreciate your support of the SAMatters mission. If you like the show, please go to iTunes and search for SAMatters Radio and subscribe to the podcast and leave your feedback and a 5-star review. This will help others find the show. You can also sign up for a free SAMatters monthly newsletter by visiting SAMatters.com and clicking on the red box on the right side of the home page. Be safe out there, and may the peace of the Lord and strong situational awareness be with you always.
You've been listening to the Situational Awareness Matters radio show with Dr. Richard B. Gasaway. If you are interested in learning more about situational awareness, human factors, and decision-making under stress, visit SAMatters.com. If you are interested in booking Dr. Gasaway for an upcoming event, visit his personal website at richgasaway.com.